But how do you respond energetically? What is your point of view about that thing that happened? When you panic, can you, if you feel like it, if you feel like being honest with us, just kidding, but can you bring to the surface, or can you share with us one thing that would trigger you into panic mode? Like just a neutral, not neutral to you, but just an appearance. Describe an appearance in your life that would cause this panic, or that you would respond to with panic.
Yeah, so the thing that's happening now, I think the thought that's panic is like, it comes as for no apparent reason, and then the fear thought is like, I'm losing my mind. And that's the thing that
What comes for no, so what's the appearance?
Just raw emotion, just like a contraction, a fear.
Okay.
It's really, this is why it's so hard to work with, is like, I don't know why it's happening. There's not like a story like, I'm afraid of this, I'm afraid of that.
I see.
It's just like these waves.
And why do you respond to that with panic, these waves? The waves are just the waves.
It's because there's a fear of like, I'm going insane, basically.
The fear that you're going insane?
Yeah, like I don't know what's happening, I don't understand.
What is that based on? How is that a belief? Oh, there is intense emotion coming up. I don't know where it's coming from. Let's panic. How's that a good choice?
It's not a good choice.
Does it help it?
No.
Okay, so never panic, right? It's fine if it happens. That's just then at that point. As soon as something happens, it's another appearance to which you can respond differently. It's not like, oh shit, my second response to the initial appearance was already negative, now I'll just have to sit in that. No, you can respond to that again anew, differently. And to that anew, there's always an appearance. Your choice immediately becomes an appearance to which you can have a different choice. And have a different choice. In that sense, you're never stuck. Because even there's intense emotion with which I respond, I don't know where it comes from, therefore I can't work with it. Therefore the response follows, oh, that means a lack of clarity and a lack of being back to who I truly am, therefore let's panic because it could mean a lack of identity, a lack of losing myself and my mind. How do you want to respond to all that? Do you want to place your response to all that negative spectrum or positive spectrum, or blissful or depressed, aligned with the truth of existence or untruth? In other words, there's these appearances and the sequence of responses all the way down to panic. And now I'm in a panic mode and it feels like I don't have any connection to anything true. How do you want to respond to that? How do you want to respond to not being able to see clearly? You're clear that you're not seeing clearly. That's one way to emphasize it more positively. I am clear that I'm confused. Nice. Dude, I'm actually clear. That means I am clear. The appearance is confusing. But I am clear on a confused appearance. That makes you independent from the circumstance, and emotions are circumstances, thoughts are circumstances, beliefs are circumstances. So you can still respond differently. You can, oh wow, wait a second, this is epic. I'm completely clear that I'm not clear, right? That's just one example. So how do you want to respond to your panic? Can you see that the observer of panic is calm?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely stable, absolutely motionless, empty, free, clear awareness, aware of panic and freaking out.
Yeah. In fact, it almost feels like there's a lot of clarity, like, and it's like so spacious all of a sudden.
Beautiful, right?
Somehow a panic.
So the panic offered that contrast, no?
Yeah.
It offered that opportunity. It was an epic panic moment.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's been really epic, for sure.
Yeah. And they both end with I see, and you're at the integral center. So perfect. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. In panic, epic, I see. Great. Excellent. So how do you, this is my message to all of you, how do you wish to respond to whatever you've already responded to? Even if you don't like your initial response to the initial appearance, what is your secondary response? If you don't like that response, investigate how you were basing that off of unconscious belief that lack could occur to you, and then respond differently until you respond exactly as existence itself would respond, with unconditional love, knowing that all is well, more than well, knowing that exciting opportunities are always present, knowing that you're never limited, knowing that there's an abundance of whatever you ever need or want, until you reach that stage. And then there's just total bliss, and you couldn't care less about the appearances or the past responses. Does that make sense? And you have to be creative about that. Be in a state of being confident in your own creativity to express yourself differently, to respond to what appears in a different way. Always know that you're never stuck. And when you feel like you're stuck, realize that you're not stuck, that that's a response. Do you still want to respond that way? How do you want to respond to the response that you're stuck? That you're free, no? You're free to choose being stuck or not stuck. Or whatever other creative way you can see that is in closer resonance with the truth of existence, which means it will feel better to believe that, to see that, to respond in that way, because that's your guiding mechanism right there. It's the emotional body. All it's supposed to do is to guide you back to clarity, to truth. And so you keep just doing that because it's fun. Who would want to stay in a state of neutrality and call that enlightenment? This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where you become a transformational being. This is where you become divine. This is where you already are divine. Obviously, don't get me wrong, but you become an expression of that. You become a clearer channel and conduit of that freedom. You become more liberated, even though you already are, but you experience it more that way. Does that make sense? Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes. How to keep your frequency high. How do you do it? It's one of the most frequently asked questions that I get. One of them. And as with many of these sort of like how-to questions, some have a very formulaic response and some are more dynamic, more based off of you as an individual, intuitive. You have to feel your way into it. You have to put it to practice. You have to figure out what works for you, what does not work for you. I can give some general guidelines, but make it exciting for you. Apply it in a way that works for you. First of all, number one, how to keep your frequency high is to stay as connected as you can to your true self, to your true devotion, to your true connection, what is most important to you. For some that may be symbolized by the one, infinity. For some that may be symbolized by consciousness. For some that may be represented by what feels true for me in this moment, my resonance. For some people it may be what seems true for them, like almost on a bodily level, like what feels true. For some people it's an idea or it's a frequency. For example, love. I want to stay true to love. So have something that you would call the highest. Whatever for you is represented by the highest.